Hi, everybody. It's Jill here with Illuminating Women, and it's our girls' night out. We're still in COVID, so we're still meeting virtually because it's important in Illuminating Women. We love to gather to empower each other through our education and encouragement and inspiration. And here we've just been chatting and catching up with everybody. And tonight, oh, I am so thrilled that I have Bettina Carey, who is going to come share with us some really golden, beautiful nuggets about pivoting, pausing during this powerful time that a lot of us are struggling or hurting or in need. I want to just show you a little bit about this lady. She was on our panel at our last conference and really shared from her heart things about what's it like to age magnificently. She also is just this little powerhouse lady that has started her own E-Power Women's kind of group that she's going to share. She did her first summit, had to make it completely online. Some of us on this call tonight were there. She just knocked us out of the world. I have never seen a woman who can share and bless other women like this lady does. The time she'll give you to help you in your business. One thing she'll spark in you every time that I love, she says, charge, make money, make that first, do it your money. Because sometimes we women, we like the frills and we like to do some of the things and not focus so much on the importance of women making money. And golly, I just, every time she speaks, she vibrates the room. She just adds a new essence and you just are walk away inspired and on fire. So Bettina, I don't know if you can share more about who you are, but I want to just thank you for coming and being with us this evening, and welcome.
Thank you so much. And thank you for that wonderful welcome for me to this group, because, you know, we are cut from the same cloth. So let me bring up my slide here. I'm going to share my PowerPoint here, and you've got to give me the permissions. And I'm so delighted to see all of the wonderful smiling faces here. And in spite of the COVID effect, you know, there's a lot of folks that are experiencing positive things that are happening in their lives as well. So that's what we're going to share a little bit with tonight.
Trying to see how to let you in.
Okay.
I've done this before and I don't know why it's not.
I think if you just hit the share button and go to like you're gonna share, and then it'll give you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you. That's how it was done. All right, go right ahead.
Okay, let's see here. Get my PowerPoint up and running here. Okay, so I'm Latin. So hola, illuminating women, and hello and hi. And I'm so excited to be here, and just to, you know, to be speaking to women is sort of like always fills my soul completely. And so just to share a little bit of my story, I'm actually about changing the globe one woman business at a time. And the Women's Empowerment Summit, which we've shortened to We Empower You, was really just not even an idea in my heart and in my soul when I first started down the path of being involved with women. I think that it's similar to what Jill has experienced, where she didn't necessarily start out to found a group, but she found the group nonetheless. And with that came this informal gathering that just more and more and more and more women started to be a part of. And I also started to invite bold men, as I would call them, and some bald men too. And we just started collectively doing business with one another. And we became a really powerful purchasing power out there. So the first thing I'd like to do is share with you that I'm not the first woman to want to be involved in empowering women. Clearly, there have been hundreds of women before me, and I certainly will not be the last. And Jill just happens to be one of those women who is in the same, has the same calling, and we've both stepped up to that calling. But I wanted to share with you who we really are. So I'm going to play for you a video, and I'm going to share a different screen with you real quick to share this video with you. Hang on one second and just bear with me here. Can you see the screen? Yes? Okay, great. I was hoping I could make it go wider, but it's not going to let me do that. And then
then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore. It's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
okay, ladies, I'm just a nut. I'm just a nut about women, and I'm a nut, and I'm trying to start a movement, and Jill is the nut, and there are the followers, and everything about illuminating women begins and ends with all of you, not with those of us who've stepped into that role that's called the leader. So join me. There you go. Get moving. Get grooving. We're just a bunch of nuts. And we are in part involved in the women's empowerment movement. We are going to places, we are doing things, we are going to make a difference around the globe. That's what we're really all about. So that's what I'm here to talk to you a little bit about, because in spite of COVID, we still can make a difference in our worlds. So pivoting is just literally seeing things from a different point of view, right? So I like to say that, you know, with every cloud, there is a silver lining. And you might ask me, why is that? And it's because, it's because there, if you look a little closer to everything that is occurring, there is positive, there is stuff that's happening that you can really embody, and you can hold on to that hope that good things will come from bad things that happen. right? And that if you want to be the change that you want to see in the world, then you have to be that change, right? So it's bigger than just being positive, though, because I'm one of the most positive people I know. It's really about creating something good out of something that is actually happening that's bad, right? And all I'm suggesting is that we find that wish that our heart makes and turn it into reality with this not so great moment that's occurring, right? So that we can truly make a difference in the world. So another way to see pivoting is that it's like turning the lemons rather, into lemonade, or seeing the rainbow, not the rain. And really what happened for me was that we had a live event scheduled that was also going to be virtual. And we had to lean in to the possibility that maybe we could serve more women by having a virtual event. And now the virtual world is our friend. Look at all these women that have gathered here tonight. And we didn't have to get into our cars. We didn't have to use up any energy. We didn't have to use up any gas in the car, wear our cars out or anything. So there's a zero carbon footprint that we're leaving on the planet. And yet we're still gathering together and making a difference in each other's lives by being in touch with each other, right? And for some people, staying home has meant becoming more aware of what you need versus what you want, you know. And I know that I used to go out all the time, almost every single day. I was out and about, I was doing things, and I literally was spending somewhere in the neighborhood of $60 to $100 a day, sometimes more. Gas, parking, food, eating out, you know, appointments, luncheons, buying other people lunch, meeting, you know, fees, you name it. And it just added up and added up and added up and added up. And it also took away from really being able to discern the difference between what I need to be happy versus what I want to be happy. And so for me, and for a lot of the people that I'm, you know, involved with, we've actually been able to take this time, take a deep breath, you know, live into the possibility that maybe this time is being given to us for that awareness that is so key and so important in our lives. For some of us, it's also meant having the time, and the time to read, the time to enjoy our family, and the time to be with our loved ones and our companions. And I know for myself, you know, my daughter-in-law and my son and my granddaughter, who live just two doors down, we've been spending a lot more time. This spring so far, I've taught my granddaughter how to play baseball, how to play basketball, volleyball, how to lead a band, how to twirl, how to play soccer. And I know for a fact that I never would have been the one teaching her those things. I would have had her with a coach. I would have had her, you know, with her teachers, in her school, running her here and there. And so now when she looks back at this time of COVID, as she grows up, she's going to, you know, someone could ask her, hey, Lily, who taught you how to play basketball? G-Ma. Who taught you how to play soccer? G-Ma, right? And here I thought I was going to be her father, or it was going to be a coach. And it turns out that it's me. And we've had these incredible times together, you know, just playing in the play area that we had to create during this time of COVID. And so I love the fact that we also have had to have much more time in solitude. I spent most of the first 3 months not interacting with people other than through Zoom, and not really having a lot of time, you know, hugging people. And I'm such a hugger, you know, touching people in terms of just to physically shake hands. How are you? You know, pat you on the back for a good job. I mean, none of that was happening. And I really, really missed it. But then I also got to have the benefit of that solitude that helped me to be in alignment with what I'm called here to do. And it gave me this vacuum of time that I could fill with the planning and the organization and bringing in the team of people that were able to help me with this Women's Empowerment Summit, which was a dream that I'd had for many years and that I was finally able to fulfill on. So I know that pivoting is definitely possible when you have the right mindset. Positioning is all about, in my mind anyway, it's all about believing that we're all in this together and that we're all connected. And so collaborations are the cornerstone for success. So, you know, who do you need to be in partnership with is the biggest question that I've been asking myself. And so as I opened up the doors to attendees for the summit, of course, I opened up the door for collaboration with Jill and the Illuminating Women, as well as Brenda as a speaker, and as well as Tracy Klinkroth, who has Chick Chat, and other women, Miko Lawson from Professional Women of Color Network, because together we have more that we can do than apart. And that invitation is for the rest of my days, Jill, just so you know. I will be here for you for the rest of my days. And I know you will be here for the rest of your days for me as well. So we're all in this together is a philosophy that I practice, being that we're all connected, no matter how far apart we might seem, with all the things that are going on this day, every day for the many weeks now. We have a lot going on. I say we are all in this together and we are all connected. So cross promotions, you know, if you have a business, some of you do, some of you don't. Doing cross-promotional events and partnering up with each other is really, really important. And especially if you can align that with some kind of a charity, some kind of a cause-related opportunity, because when you partner for good, more people will jump in there with you. So, you know, whatever you have in mind, think about if there's another agency or organization that also calls your heart, that you might be able to align with. And it's not just about branding and marketing and positioning from the standpoint of how you normally would hear about positioning. It's really about doing good, right? So we're all doing good together. And teaming up with others saves both time and money, and it helps you get what I say is what's close to your heart closer to the money. And as Jill pointed out, I'm always have a vested interest in making sure that women especially are able to see their way clear to better understanding their value, their worth, and what they bring to the table, so that they're not a doormat to anyone or any situation. And so my entire team was a paid team, because I believe in doing and saying everything that I say. You know, it's not what I, you know, making sure that that all is in alignment. So when you're working with one another, even if it's, you know, you're basically just trading money, do so, because that way there's flow, right? And so another thing I did this during COVID was I called on every female business owner and even some of my male business owners to let them know what was going on with SBA loans, grants. There's so many more grants coming down the line. Lowe's just did a grant. There's the red backpack that's being done by the Spanx CEO. And so getting women closer to the money, because if we're not at the table, then we will be left out. And I know this for certain. And in that particular conversation, I did find that not 100% of the women said something to me that that went from, on the one end, I don't really need any money, I don't need a grant, I don't need a loan, to I didn't even know, to in between, I applied, I couldn't apply because I wasn't ready. And at the end of the day, even the woman who says to me, I don't need the money, I said to that person, you know what? If you qualify for that money, you should go get the money and then flow it back into and hire people that could use the money. And then she went, I get it. Say no more. I'm going to make that application. And then she's going to be able to put that money back in the universe. And that's what I've been doing as well. So getting what's close to your heart, closer to the money, is really about flow and energy. And that is part of the positioning that we want to be in. So we're in it together, we're all connected, and it's all about flow, not cash. And then, it's all about pausing to smell the roses along the way. And I had a really great experience this week when I had my granddaughter over here overnight, and she was here while I was having, just getting ready for a meeting. And I said, Lily, you need to stop what you're doing, because she was singing loud on her microphone and playing her little piano. And she said, don't you see that I have a smile on my face and I'm so happy? To which I had to just laugh and just, like, oh, right, you're right. Keep on going, keep playing, keep singing. So we have to be reminders for one another that we need to stop and smell the roses along the way. And I have a very certain belief that I practice, and that is that when the universe gives you time, I say take it, because the next thing you know, as time comes back to us and we get busier again, as we always do, we're not going to have that time back. So if you have books to read, if you have friends to visit with that you've not seen or talked to in a long time, spend that time that we now have doing the things that you will not have time for a year from now, because that time will get sucked up again. I'm certain of it. And focus on experiences that really matter to you, because it's about creating memories. Now, I always say it's about creating memories, not nightmares. And trust me, I have family, and I'm sure that you will agree that when you spend a lot of time with family, there might be some nightmares that are possible. But I run that through my head when I get into situations, either with family or even with business situations or just out there in the public. It gives me pause when I say in my head, I'm here to create memories, not nightmares. So if you can embrace that mantra as a solution for decompressing, not getting upset, taking one step at a time, it really helps to put you in a different frame of mind. And then the reason I have this photo of me dancing is because you've got to dance as if nobody's watching, right? Because you might just end up starting a movement. And that's the whole goal, is just forget about what other people say. Forget about whether your hair is graying or not graying. Forget about the fact that now, you don't have all of the right stuff anymore. You haven't been able to shop. Your nails aren't done. Forget about it. It's all small stuff. There's so many things that I've been able to put down in order to be able to pick up something bigger, which was my empowerment summit, which was empowering women around the globe. And we had people that showed up to the summit from Germany, from Brussels, and from Canada and Texas, Amarillo, Texas, and Denver, Colorado, and across the United States, New Hampshire, you name it. Why? Because I stopped the clock and I took care of the time to take the time that I had right now to plan something that had been in my heart for a very, very long time. So dance, have fun, and take your pauses along the way. So I'm Bettina Carey, and I'm founder of Women in Small Biz Shows and Events. And what I produce nowadays are these summits. So once a quarter from now on, right around the change of the season, we'll be having these summits. The last one was just last week. And I'm really here to change the globe one business at a time, not just on my own, but with global women leaders like Jill Nichols Hicks. So I implore you to surround her with all the love, bring more women to her organization, invite people to all of these various, weekly and monthly and events that she has, because she has something and she's doing something really wonderful. what I'm trying to do is build a membership group where it's a women's marketplace where women, whether you own a business or don't own a business, where you can come together, and making the Illuminating Women a member of that is going to be, is part of my dream, to be inclusive and collaborative within that. So I wanted to just share real briefly, we had a really great lineup of speakers, and Jill had wanted me to mention this to you. Jill was a part of our program, and so was Brenda. And of course, our new lineup of speakers is being planned as we speak. We were able to also use some applications that allowed us to really create a mechanism for people to really connect. And 78% of our attendees ended up using our mobile app, and 100% of people did self-registration. So I'm hoping to bring this to Jill whenever she's up and ready for that. And we're pushing the boundaries with technology. So embrace technology. Zoom is a technology that we're using here tonight, but there are other technologies that can bridge the gap between what we thought we had going on. And I bet you there's a way for that Peru trip to have a virtual trip in August, and bring about people who not only want to be a part of that virtual audience, but they will sign up for the next year trip too. So Matilde, we should also be talking. And the other thing is, it's all about engagement, right? So being engaged, making the time for these GNOs on Friday nights, once a month, and all of the other things that Jill has. By invitation, inviting women to the table is really the only way that Jill can really grow her organization. And use this time when we have this virtual platform and people aren't going towards live events right now, to grow the Illuminating Women platform, because it is and should be very large in this time. Again, accelerating event marketing is what I'm doing with Crowd Compass, and that's the app that I'm using. And also we have the Women's Empowerment Marketplace to bring all of you together under, of course, the Illuminating brand. So there's some features here I'm not going to get into, but feel free to talk with Jill about that. So I want to say thank you so much, Jill, for having me here tonight. I'm here to support you and your growth and the organization's growth. And I invite any questions that you might have at this time.
So if you do have a question, unmute yourself. You know, I thought there were some very powerful things that you said in there. And again, we have a lot of healers in our group, and people who every golden nugget from every one of them. I have seen that video a long time ago, and
Yes.
love that, you know, it takes one person to stand up and start doing something, you know, and then it just changes.
Something crazy usually, right?
Something kind of crazy. Exactly. And then, you know, and how things can change from there. So my one question to you is, and I do appreciate your support and the belief that when women have their sisterhood in their community, things that can be done.
Absolutely.
So my one question to you is, you know, you have marketing as your background. You've done this for how many years now?
Well, 27 in business, but I was doing marketing long before that. So
right. And you used to be a nurse also.
Yes, 20 years in nursing. So I was in prenatal labor and delivery and prenatal education and postpartum home care, and so I really appreciate that as well.
Right. I just love that your life took these directions. You just didn't have to necessarily stay in the same place, and you bit off new things. So my question is, in your time that you've been doing all of this, what is the one thing that because I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the money piece. Why do you think it is that women aren't comfortable with the whole money issue? What is it that is around in our minds on that?
Well, I think of it sometimes as a little bit of codependency that we might have buried underneath us, but a lot of it has to do with confidence, self-esteem and confidence. So women may not have the confidence to ask for what they're worth, but you can build that confidence by practice, by sharing with another colleague, another situation. So here's the typical scenario. 2 guys, 3 guys, 5 guys, or whatever, they're at a beach. And one of them takes out a cocktail napkin and they start writing down ideas amongst themselves. And they then take that cocktail napkin and they go to the bank, or they go to their investor friends and they say, we've got this really great idea, and here's the idea. And they show their little cocktail napkin to whomever it is that they've decided to go to. And they get funded. And they get funded in the millions sometimes, right? Not women. Women have the idea and they will massage it and write it down and massage it and massage it and massage it. They'll spend their own money, get jacked up into credit debt. They'll put all their money into it, trying to prove to themselves that the idea is worth having and it's sellable. And they may not ever get it to a banker because they're into the perfection of it. And I have a saying that's, done is better than perfect, and it's way more profitable. So perfectionism is the second reason why women don't get what's close to their heart, closer to the money, because they're sitting there trying to perfect the widget. They're trying to perfect the service. Men, on the other hand, have a confidence that they get through societal upbringing that even if they don't even know, they don't even have a freaking clue how they're going to do the job, they'll apply for the job. They'll even go in there saying, well, and that's not enough. I want a little pay raise before I even get started in the job. Why is that? Again, it goes down to self-confidence, self-esteem, and lack of practice. And since Lauren Hemingway has signed in, I will use her as a really good example, because when we met, I was standing behind her at a Duke's Chowder House, and she was here to be interviewed by Amazon. And she turned around and she asked me what she should order. And of course, I said, well, what do you like to eat? And we started this dialogue, and she decided she was going to have a salad and she was going to take it home in a box. And I said, absolutely not. Belly up to the bar, and we're going to have this meal together. And then we became fast friends. And I closed that dinner off by saying, when you get that offer, make sure before you seal the deal, I want to make sure that you and I talk. I'm going to give you the language to be able to ask for more. And it's going to be uncomfortable as heck, but with these words, you will get more. And they will, and I said, and if for some reason they find it objectionable, or they give you any flack, then you always can just say, well, of course, I just had to ask, and that way, if for some reason it's a really hard stopping, they're not going to do it, at least you've asked. But guess what? She got more than they offered because she asked. So the third reason that women don't get what they are worth is because they simply don't ask. They don't ask for the sale. They don't ask for the raise. They don't ask for, especially in a professional hiring situation, they don't ask for more than what they're being offered because they're afraid they won't get the job. And so for these 3 main reasons, I would say that's what's making it difficult for women to get what's close to their heart, closer to the money. Now, as it relates to the last piece, really is about revenue generating activities and understanding your revenue model. So there's a lot of revenue models out there. If you go to the grocery store, their revenue model is based on buy low, sell high. They buy the products, they hire the staff, there's a cost of goods sold, they sell the goods, but they have a profit margin in there. restaurants have a profit margin in there, and it's a lot smaller than a retail store like, a Nordy, where they're getting their stuff made in a foreign country. They're paying very little for it, but they're charging a lot. So a restaurant has a puny margin, a retail store has a much bigger margin. Well, if you don't have the right revenue model in place for your business, then you can work really, really hard and you're still not going to get where you want to go. So the fourth thing is that women work just way too hard for the money. And I know I've been someone who's worked way too hard for the money too. Someone whispered in my ear earlier this year, they said, her name is Lee Romanoff, and she said, Bettina, you're working too hard still. And you have a disease called working too hard. I don't want it. So stay way the hell away from me with that disease. And with that, I've stopped working hard and I've started to work with ease. So the fourth thing is know your revenue model and find a model that works with you that's easy, not hard. And men seem to do this really well and women seem to not. So those are the main four reasons, I would say.
Oh, I love that. Brilliant. And I know that Brenda Reese, and it's powerful. I was there at one of her workshops, has a forgiveness piece around money. And Brenda will be able to tell you there's this definite issue regarding women and the forgiveness with their money and mistakes, from mistakes and letting go of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's another fifth one I would say too, is if you've made a mistake around money, then you might be like a cowering dog with its tail beneath its leg underneath the cabinet because you've beaten yourself over and over and over about that. And the only way to get through that is to put yourself in the exact same circumstance and to do better because you know better, and to, offer yourself the opportunity to be a better steward of money. And I've been there, so I understand that as well. So that's like a fifth one of those opportunities. Forgive yourself is really big. And Brenda is the coach to go and work on your forgiveness for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. Were there, and if you have another question or two before we quit this recording, who would like to have any questions do you want to ask? Is there any questions? I've got to plug my computer in because we're starting to go. Anybody? Any thoughts?
Just open your mic, I guess.
You have to unmute yourself if you want.
I will. This is Vicki.
Hi, Vicki.
Vicki.
So, how do you suggest boosting your confidence? Because to me, it's a journey, and I would love to have this already conquered.
Well, probably the best way to go about it is with coaching, obviously, because that's a much speedier path. But it's really a mind game, right? So you've got to brainwash yourself just like you've been brainwashed. Women have been brainwashed since they were little girls to not have the confidence that they need to succeed in business, leadership, love, life, and health, right? So these areas were not. If I ask a woman if she feels empowered in all areas of her life, if she's honest, she will not likely say no, right? So you might work on one area at a time with a coach is advisable, but there's also some really good self-help tapes. There's hypnosis. I mean, there's a lot of modalities. I happen to have in my toolkit that I have wrapped around my waist in the figurative sense, I have a lot of tools that I can whip out to help me deal with my mindset, right? So I meditate all day, every day. I'm doing a level of meditation to stay centered and aligned and be aware. So awareness comes first. So a practice of awareness is something that I would add into my life if I was lacking in that confidence department, right? The next thing is presence, being present to who you really, really, really are on the planet. There are no broken people on this planet. There are people that are not aware of who they really are and how powerful they are and who they came here to be. And so reminding and remembering who you truly are, whether you have to scroll it on with lipstick on a mirror or write it in messages that you paste all over your walls, something that reminds you every day that who you are is not broken, that you are in fact whole and complete as you are, and embracing presence. I found a lot of my effort there came from The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle's work, helped a great deal to be present-minded. And it really is about unlocking your hidden potential with your own master key, because we are our own jailer. So we all have a key. Mine is different than yours, right? And once we figure out where did that start, oftentimes in childhood, and what is it that keeps us from being successful, we can unlock it. And like magic, all of a sudden we're confident. All of a sudden, wow, this is really like a breath of fresh air. And then it's almost like, see, I wouldn't want to be I'm never going to be that again. So having the right coach, having the right books to read, meditation tapes. I mean, we had a lot of women at the summit, for example. We had a hypnotherapist named Lauren Archer. We've got Brenda Reese, because sometimes it's about forgiveness work that has to be done. There were so many opportunities to line up with people like that. And by the way, we did record the whole thing, and it will be released a little bit at a time, as well as in a whole package. So I'll keep Jill informed about that, so she can make sure you guys are up to speed on that. But that's where I would begin. I would begin by investigating coaching, getting the right books, getting the right materials, because you have to brainwash yourself into believing that you are whole and complete as you are, because there's no broken people on the planet. There's only whole people who have forgotten who they are.
Oh, that is just beautiful.
Love that.
Sue has a quick question.
I'm curious if you read a definite purpose statement, because you sound like you do. I think we all have to keep reminding ourselves how great we are. So I've been taught in many cases that you read this wonderful thing about yourself every day in the mirror or wherever you want to read it, but you repeat it, and it's repeating it to yourself that teaches you.
Yes, and I don't know the work that you're talking about, so maybe folks can turn to you, Sue, for that knowledge and wisdom. I have
not gonna turn to me, but they'll turn to somebody.
Yes.
Google it, definite purpose statement. It's out there,
Yes,
so.
and I also embrace a state of gratitude, right? So awareness comes first, aligning with the knowledge that I am whole and complete, and that I'm present as I possibly can be, no matter what's going on around me, but also being in a state of praise or gratitude at all times, or as often as possible, is part of my daily practice. The other part is I have a lot of mantras, like when people start to have little craziness that goes on around me, I'll say, not my circus, not my monkeys, not my circus, not my monkeys, not my circus, not my monkeys. And it keeps me from letting one of those monkeys get on my back, right? So that's how, another thing is develop those mantras that you can live by. I'm here to make dreams, not nightmares. I want to see the rainbow, not the rain. Whatever it is, put some stuff in your head that they're your go-to formulas, that you can always look to. Another one that I have is, I don't know how it came to be. And I'll do this in the bathtub with my eyes closed, my hair all wet, and just literally try to get to a state of theta. And just literally say, I don't know how it came to be, but X, Y, or Z is happening to me, for me, about me. And the next idea that pops in my mind, I jump out of the bathtub and I write it down, because it's going to be a winner. And so having daily practices is really, really important, so that you can embody and embrace the whole and complete person that you truly are and that you came here to be.
Oh my word. That was just deliciously fantastic. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
now is I'm going to stop the recording. And so if there's some more questions and things that we can go a little bit deeper. Bettina, so how, if somebody wants to find you, how can they find you? And I will have, some of the links in the video for YouTube. So if somebody
Sure.
wants to find you, how can they do that?
So I have several ways, but you can take out your cell phone. It's really easy, and type in the phone number to text me is 555-888, and you simply type in the word women. And when you do that, you'll get an automatic message back from me that tells you to click on a link, and then you exchange your information with me. You share how you are empowering women and girls around the globe, and I will try to remember that and share that with others. I'm all about sharing the story. My email is askbettina@gmail.com for a reason, because I want men and women to call me and ask me questions, complimentary wise, because I've been in business for 27 years. I've had to pivot over and over. When I first started my business, I was a nurse and a nurse consultant. And then I pivoted to the women's empowerment, business training and workshops. And then I started an ad and marketing and publishing agency. And then now I'm back to women's empowerment, and I publish books. And so, I've had to pivot. So I know a lot of different things. Feel free to ask me. And then the last but not least is the women's empowerment marketplace.com, where we will have Illuminating Women growing there as well, so that you can share with each other what you're doing in your business.
Oh, that's awesome. And I just want to mention before I quit the recording, Jennifer did put into the group chat a great free meditation app with thousands of guided meditations for any and all goals, desires is Insight Timer. Oh, that's a good one. Thank you, Jennifer. I like that. Even check that one out. I don't even know about that one. So Insight Timer. That's a good one to know. Well, I want to thank everybody and for plugging in. Thank you, Bettina. And, because I know you give from your heart and you care deeply, and what you give just grows, right? And what you focus on and what you do, and it just showers this earth to be a better place. And especially now, you gave some really excellent tips and food for thought. So I want to thank you very much for that.
Thank you for having me, Jill. It was wonderful to meet all the new ladies in my life, and to see some of the faces that I've come to know over the last years.
Oh, I mean, we're gonna get to know each other even better. Thank you for watching this. And if you want to learn more about Illuminating Women, just go to illuminatingwomen.com. You can find us in social media, and we would love to have you participate. So thanks again, Bettina, and have a wonderful rest of your day. And really believe in yourself. I love this. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.